The economy. This overarching figure that exists in our society that we can't see, but we can definitely feel. And something our politicians are always talking about, especially while campaigning, is how they're going to fix the economy or help the economy or whatever else to the damn economy. And when the question of what the arms trade does to the economy comes up, some are quick to say that the arms trade is a key contributor to national economies. A contributor? Yes. But a key contributor? I don't know about that. According to Campaign Against Arms Trade, arms exports, both in goods like weapons and services like training, were estimated to be worth around £7 billion per year in 2020. This means they make up just 1.4% of total UK exports. 1.4% is a key contributor. It's high time we address and break down this myth.
Welcome back to 7 Myths That Sustains the Global Arms Trade. In this 7-part video series, we'll explore how our defence systems need rethinking and invite you to join our community of modern-day peacemakers. We've all heard politicians refer to the economy as a way to justify their plans and actions.
I will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda.
An economy relates to all activity that has to do with the production, consumption, and trades of goods and services within an area.
There are different types of economies too, and the United Kingdom has an advanced open market economy in which the prices of goods and services are determined in a free price system. The way to know if an economy is doing well is through their gross domestic product, aka GDP. We use GDPs to compare different countries' economies to see who is thriving and who isn't.
That's nice and all, but what does this have to do with the context of this video? And specifically, where does the arms trade come into it?
The UK's GDP in 2020 was £1.96 trillion. And from that £1.96 trillion, 2.2% was spent on military expenditure, meaning that it was spent on the military and all things that go towards defense purposes. Ever wondered what 2.2% of over £1 trillion was? Why, it's just a mere £43 billion.
If the country was spending £43 billion on its military expenditure, and considering that that's quite a massive figure, you'd expect the return to be just as big, right?
Wrong. According to the UK government, the UK made £7.2 billion from arms exports, even though they had secured £11 billion worth of export contracts. So the idea that this industry is a key contributor, as in the economy would not be the same without it, may seem a bit exaggerated.
But what if the contributions were not limited to money? What about the goods that were created in the context of the military but have now become household names in everyday use?
When you're throwing billions and billions of dollars, pounds, or euros at an industry in hopes of innovation, you're about to end up with some serious inventions. Most of the time, the type of innovation we see come out of the defense industry has to do with defense, jet engines, drones, nuclear technology, and space programs. But sometimes you get the odd invention that actually translates incredibly well into everyday use.
It makes us wonder, if it had not been for the disproportionately large amount of money dedicated to defense spending, would we not have these inventions today? And we're not just talking about GPS and walkie-talkies here either. Did you know that ambulances, blood transfusions, canned food, and even sanitary products are all military inventions? I know.
Nurses, realizing how much blood those sanitary napkins they were using on wounded soldiers could absorb, thought, what if I used it every month? With all this being said, it's a blessing that positive changes and inventions came from these dire moments. But did we need to see this much bloodshed before having these conversations?
If a person's well-being had actually been taken seriously in health, as opposed to when they become a resource on the battlefield, then perhaps these inventions would have come a lot sooner. There is no denying the amount of money that the arms trade can bring into an economy, especially like when here in the UK, we are one of the world's largest arms exporters. But realistically, does all this money go back into our economy, or does it go to places that we are not allowed to ask about?
If you've ever heard of the Al-Yamamha deal, then you'll know what we're talking about. This series of arms deals took place over several years and was quite controversial. Not only was this the world's biggest arms deal ever made, but almost immediately the legality and legitimacy of this deal was sus. It wasn't until the 2000s when a bunch of documents were leaked and led to a corruption investigation run by the Serious Fraud Office.
The investigation brought to light a series of commission payments, aka bribes, totaling to £6 billion, which were paid by BAE Systems to members of the Saudi royal family and friends.
Instead of bringing BAE Systems to court, the SFO investigation was shut down by the British government in 2006, as requested or heavily suggested by the Saudis. So let's recap, shall we? Yes, £83 billion came from these arms sales, but did they go to the British government? No. They went to BAE Systems, who is already heavily subsidized by the British government thanks to the British taxpayer.
Were these arms sales key contributors to the economy? I'm not sure about that, hun. The new Lucas plan is something quite extraordinary, in the sense that the employees of Lucas Aerospace proved exactly why this myth is just a myth.
This all started back in 1976, when workers of the Lucas Aerospace Company came together, formed a committee, and advocated for them to diversify the products they were manufacturing. You see, Lucas Aerospace was an arms manufacturer. When the workforce was facing layoffs, meaning that people were going to get fired, the committee brought to their management the idea of manufacturing things for social good. Their reasoning was that by doing this, they wouldn't need to be laid off, and they would also be able to use their already existing skills and factories.
AKA, it won't cost you a dime to diversify your production portfolio.
A survey was circulated amongst the entire workforce, asking them what social problem would they solve with their skills. And this workforce put together 150 product ideas, ranging from medical equipment to transport to even energy conservation. They estimated that they could increase the production of kidney dialysis machines by 40%. And for energy conservation, there were proposals for wind turbine developments, solar cell technology, and fuel cell technology. I mean, come on, how sick is this?
Alas, the ideas listed in the survey were not manufactured by this workforce. In the end, the management followed their original plan, closed the factory, and let the capitalist machine keep on rolling.
The term arms to renewables has been coined to address these ideas.
The question of, is the arms trade a key contributor to our economies, is both very straightforward and complicated.
Yes, the arms trade does bring in a lot of money, definitely. But where is this money going?
It's going to places for which we have little mechanisms of accountability. And it's especially going to people who are likely to continue these cycles of conflict because it brings them profit.
Arms and defense production is not as much of a key contributor to the economy than it's made out to be. We can do better.
Our community of modern-day peacemakers are working against this from universities. And there's a place for you to join the movement.
Up next, we will be debunking the myth that corruption in the arms trade is only a problem in developing countries.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and support our mission. And remember, we ain't dead yet.
Low-key, I'm here to say that in order for us to combat the misallocation of funds, which is the arms trade, we have to build organizations, institutions, and movements that can continuously challenge them in a war of attrition. One of those such organizations is demilitarized education, because we no longer need our children being socialized into the commonsensical notions that war is necessary. It is not necessary. Arms companies are not necessary. They are parasites on the public purse, and as Eisenhower said, they take money away from places where it should be used, like hospitals, like organizations for social good, like vital institutions which the public need.